What if I told you there's a country where over 80% of the population lives in public housing and that this very system is designed to make them wealthy? This isn't a fantasy. This is the story of the world's most successful housing experiment. But how? How did a tiny island with no natural resources build a system that defies modern economics? Welcome to Cape Capital, your economic superhero, where we decode the hidden economic concepts of our world. To understand, we need to meet Andy and Nicole. They're about to buy their first home, and in doing so, they're stepping into a brilliant economic machine designed over 60 years ago. When we first meet them, they're just a young couple on a date, thinking about their future. And in Singapore, that conversation inevitably leads to one thing: housing. They're scrolling through property portals on their phone and see the $1 million price tags on private condos. A wave of anxiety hits them. How could they ever afford a life together?
That's when they encounter the first and most crucial gear in this economic machine, the HDB Build-to-Order System, or BTO. The BTO system is their only realistic path to an affordable home, but it comes with a condition that shapes the life of nearly every young Singaporean. The most common way to be eligible is as a couple, under HDB's fiancé-fiancée scheme.
This means that Andy and Nicole, just a dating couple, have to plan in advance to get married. They must be at least 21 years old and they apply for a flat before they are legally married.
They only need to produce their marriage certificate when they collect their keys, typically 3 to 5 years later. A system that incentivizes marriage, turning a romantic milestone into critical financial strategy. So, their journey begins. They wait for an HDB BTO launch in an area that they live.
They check their eligibility online. Then with a click, they submit their application and enter a nationwide lottery, hoping their queue number is lucky. It's a uniquely Singaporean rite of passage.
A few weeks later, they get the email. They have done it. They have a good queue number. Now they can finally select a unit.
Their first welcome shock? The price. Their brand new 2-bedroom flat costs just 280,000 Singapore dollars, while a private condo nearby costs over $1 million. The reason is our first deep concept. The government views housing as a merit good. They believe a stable home for everyone creates a better society for everyone. Now, let's understand this through a graph. Here, the market equilibrium occurs at QM/PM, where the marginal private benefit equals the marginal social cost. However, the socially optimal level of housing consumption is at Q*. The market alone would undersupply affordable homes. The gap between QM and Q* represents the market failure to provide the socially desirable amount of housing. The shaded triangle represents the deadweight loss to society. The Singaporean government's intervention with the HDB is a direct attempt to close this gap, primarily through a system of subsidies to push consumption towards Q*. This ensures that young couples like Andy and Nicole can afford a home. But this begs the question, where does the money for this massive discount come from? The answer is one of the most ingenious financial mechanisms in the world: land value capture. Imagine this land years ago. It is owned by the state and it's not worth much. Then the government announces new MRT lines, new schools, new parks. Suddenly the land is incredibly valuable. Because the state owns the land, it captures that massive increase in value, that unearned profit, and recycles it directly into subsidizing the flats built on it.
They are essentially getting a discount paid for by the future value of their hometown. But there's a catch written right into their contract, a detail that makes this whole system possible.
They don't own the flat forever. They own a 99-year lease. This is a depreciating asset. But here's the key: the value doesn't drop evenly. For the first 30 to 40 years, its value is stable, often even appreciating as the town matures. This makes the flat affordable upfront and gives the government a crucial power: the ability to reclaim and redevelop land after a century, ensuring the city never gets old. It's a trade-off. Affordability today for finite ownership tomorrow.
So they have a subsidized price and a 99-year-old lease. So how do they actually pay for it?
With their Central Provident Fund or CPF. This is Singapore's mandatory savings scheme, and it creates a perfect closed economic loop. A portion of your salary is automatically saved into your CPF. You can then use these savings to pay for your HDB flat.
The money flows from Singaporean salaries to a national savings fund and then directly to the National Housing Authority to build more homes. It is a self-funding, self-contained machine.
So Andy and Nicole move in. They live their lives. 6 years pass. Their town is now mature. Their flat is desirable. This is where the magic happens. This is where the system transforms from social stability into a wealth generation machine. They decide to sell. They bought their flat for 280,000 Singapore dollars. On the open market, it's now worth 550,000 Singapore dollars. After paying off their remaining loan of 230,000 Singapore dollars and returning $60,000 to their own CPF savings accounts, they are left with $260,000 in pure tax-free cash. This isn't just a profit, it's a life-changing launchpad.
It's the capital they can use to upgrade to a bigger home near a good school, buy a private condo, invest, or start a business. Their first heavily subsidized home has become an engine for their family's upward mobility. They have turned a government subsidy into real life-changing capital. This entire system, merit goods, land value captured, leases, and port savings is an intricate dance. It is a blueprint that turned the housing crisis into a stakeholder society, giving every citizen a tangible piece of the nation's success.
But it's not without debate. Critics argue it locks too much wealth in property and that the depreciating lease may be a looming retirement crisis. It may create a society of asset-rich individuals who are highly dependent on property values. And that marriage pact, it has a strict enforcement clause. The subsidized flat is for a family nucleus. So if a couple like Andy and Nicole were to divorce, they would face another set of strict rules. They typically cannot own the flat individually and must sell it on the open market after fulfilling their 5-year minimum occupation period. If they divorce before that period is up, they usually have to surrender the flat back to HDB, often at a loss. Despite the debates, most economists agree that the HDB BTO mechanism in Singapore is a powerful role model for other countries seeking to ensure affordable public housing for a majority of their population. The BTO HDB flat isn't just a home. It is the first and most important step on an economic ladder designed by the state to give Singaporeans a tangible stake in the nation and a foundation to build their family's future. It is a plan that sets them up for life. It is the bedrock of the Singaporean dream. So, the question is this the future of urban living, or is it a unique experiment that can't be replicated? What do you think? Do you also believe that this system is a work of genius? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to understand the deep economics behind everyday life, make sure you subscribe.
Thanks for watching.